our job is done. So everyone, welcome to Speak Up Monday. Here every Monday, as you know, Tropical Nomad, the first Monday of every month, we devote to health. So we have our sister over here at the end, Tracy Grunewald, who is the founder of Health Hub Bali, which we're going to get into what Health Hub Bali is in a second. And we have a wonderful guest, Dr. Ava, the first time you've been on the show. Looking forward to hearing more from you. But permit me to read from this. Tonight's show is all about integrative medicine. Also, what are the core points of value? Why heal the healer is the integral part of the model. And obviously next, what is HHB Health Hub Bali offering? So just for you, in case you don't know, Health Hub Bali is a health tourism initiative with a focus on creating next level health through HHB Health Journeys. Whether you'd like to know what Bali has to offer now or what options are available to support optimizing your stay here in Bali, this episode will hold valuable answers straight from the doc herself, which, you know what, as I'm on a roll here, I might as well go for you too. So Dr. Ava Satnick MD, board certified pediatrician and integrative medicine specialist, receiving fellowships from none other than Stanford University, Andrew Weil University of Arizona, a physician, founder of Holbrook. We'll talk about that. Health providing integrated medicine consulting for all ages, right? Now, my name, in case you don't know, is Robert Ian Bonnick, the founder, host of Speak Up Monday, Destination Indonesia. And as you may know, it's an award-winning show. We've been awarded from Forbes Business Council, from the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy here in Indonesia. We work with many of the local tourism bodies as well. And I'm also known as a gateway to Indonesia for medium-sized and large companies looking to either enter Indonesia in about 10 different market sectors, or those companies looking to expand in Indonesia within 10 market sectors. So let's start with tonight's show. So we have two microphones here. One microphone that you're going to be sharing. But you know what? Before we get into what the takeaways are, just be nice to hear from you. Maybe introduce yourself, even though I've started us off. But also, people are asking, what is integrative medicine all about? So feel free to include that, and I'll pick it up in a minute. Feel free to include that in your intro. Over to you, Dr. Ava.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see everyone here. Thank you for joining. So I grew up in New York with a family of doctors. Oh, I look this way. Hello. So it was something that I grew up in our kitchen table conversations were these interesting cases my dad brought home, or the last surgery my uncle performed, an appendectomy, or
a what?
I know, appendectomies.
Yeah, you better explain what that is real quick.
When your appendix, the appendix? It gets a little inflamed.
You know what? This will be fun. Everybody point to where your appendix are. Just point. Go on, just point. Now, is anyone right? Where are your appendix?
Do you guys know? Right. Yes, there you go. Right side. Right lower side. Right lower side.
Stitches. The whole way.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you. Continue when you're ready.
And so I grew up in this family, right, where we preached traditional medicine. And if I got a cold, my dad would prescribe me antibiotics. Probably should have brought me to another doctor, but wow. So I grew up in this very conventional. Yeah. More stories about that for another time. So I grew up in this very conventional model, but I personally started practicing yoga when I was 17. I was the first person in my family to stop drinking soda, right? Wow. Yeah, I was 12 and I was like, I don't feel good after I drink this. And my family would be like, just drink it, it's fine, it's good for you. And I knew it wasn't good for me. My yoga career started when I was 17 because I went and I just felt at peace after. And I came home and my family said, you've never looked better. And so I didn't really think about these things as being medicine. Wow. Drinking water instead of soda, right? Doing a daily yoga practice. But over the year, and I didn't set off with a goal or an expectation. It was just, I feel good when I do this. And I kept doing it. So I always say I've been practicing integrative medicine because of my lifestyle longer than I've even known medicine.
So what's the integrative part? Because some people here, maybe they get, that you're brought up on the antibiotic, the traditional route. So then how would you describe integrative medicine?
Yeah, so integrative medicine is a whole person experience. Right, so we take not just your physical body. Traditional medicine will look at your physical body, right? If something's wrong, we're going to order tests or get images, things like this, right? So that's part of it. But also understanding who you are emotionally, psychologically, energetically, how these things come into affect your being. And what makes you feel good, essentially, right? Like I always say, I have high compliance rates with my prescriptions because I only prescribe what works for people, what they'll do, what makes them feel better, right? And then it's very easy to live this way when you start noticing. And that self-awareness, the connection to self.
The question that comes up, not on our question sheet, of course, but that's how we roll. You can feel it already. Where is it? Because, integrated medicine, you've described that. But I think where people are at is that, is there a place for pharmaceutical drugs? Is there a place for these other, lifestyle medicine? It is not clearly, but what is the place where traditional, let's call it traditional medicine, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just using that word flagrantly, but is there a place within that model for that? And if so, I know we're going to talk about it more tonight, but what can you give as a broad brushstroke?
Yes, so the answer is yes. So when I'll just compare this conventional model first with the antibiotics as an example, right? Very good for acute infection, right? For my example, I punctured my thumb and I went to my acupuncturist right away and I said, I punctured my thumb, I'm nervous, I'm gonna have an infection. And he did an acupuncture treatment on me and I got home and the redness went away for about 6 hours. In the middle of the night, I woke up with severe pain. And I was like, it's a thumb. I want this, right? And I know antibiotics are really good at treating acute infection. So I took the antibiotics also, right? So it's like you can use all these, it's multimodal, right? You can use these other modalities with prescription medicine. It doesn't exclude it. But it's knowing what's really important. This is the issue I'm seeing, and I'm from America, so this is what I'm seeing happen there, and I'm sure in other countries too. We're using what meant to be, like with the example of antibiotics, acute infection, here's the dose, the intention, the duration, and the frequency. And in a week, you'll feel better, right? But now with the rise of chronic disease, which integrative medicine is much better at treating, this multimodal approach using lifestyle and other philosophies, we're seeing prescription medicine being used with no end in sight. So everything I learned about prescribing medicine is like, oh, you have depression, here's some Prozac for the rest of your life. And it's like, what? This makes no sense to me. So anyone who has a chronic disease is prescribed something, like, please ask your doctors, like, how long do you think I'll need this? Ask yourself, most importantly, is this what I need? And one thing I do tell all my patients is that, I'm here as your guide, but you are your own expert. So if something's not sitting right with you, or it's not aligned with your beliefs or your value systems, bring that to our attention. Bring that to your doctor's attention. Does that answer the question? I may have gone on a tangent.
No, but it does. So Tracy's going to do an intro in a minute. But the question comes up, devil's advocate, right? So you're saying, and what actually this whole series that Tracy and I started is about how do you reclaim your own health, right?
Yes.
And become, the captain woman of your life, right? But here's the thing. Sometimes our judgment may be impaired, right? So we want to be at the lead, at the forefront, take control of our life and our pathway to health. But then what if we are not really all there, but we think we are, right? Dr. Google, all the rest of this stuff. Again, we're talking broad of whatever comes up for you. What do you do then? As a practitioner in your shoes, you're saying on one hand, hey, take it, it's you, live it. If it feels right for you, go for it with your beliefs and everything else. Then on the other hand, this person might not be in a fit state for whichever reason to make that call. How do you navigate that one?
Yeah, so this comes up, and I think we have an integrative psychologist in the audience. So
She's on next episode. She just came here, saw her in the gym. It's like, hang on a second, I'm the guest now? Yes, no, that's how it works.
So there's something that is a good therapist, a good psychologist, a doctor who's had training in motivational interviewing is something that's key to sitting down with a patient and understanding their core beliefs. And I'm just going to give an example in this case where I was talking to Tracy right before this. I have a patient that I'm seeing who has chronic pain. And, a core belief of integrative medicine is we can all heal. We can all heal. So anyone watching this, I want to make sure that you hear this. But she didn't believe she could. So when we talk about, and meanwhile, she's showing up to the doctor I was seeing her weekly at this point, week after week, and she couldn't believe she could heal. And I didn't know what to do as the guiding doctor, because I was like, her belief system is completely out of line with her ability to heal. So for maybe like 6 months or so, I just watched this. But you can't, when someone's ready to receive the information they need, they slowly start to open up. But you have to be very, very careful the information you provide and the timing. It's really the art of medicine. Because if I had suggested that she can heal, right, it would seem like an attack. Yeah. like anyone who has kids in the audience, right? Like if you can see what your kids need, right? But if you say it, they will attack you, or they'll get defensive.
My kids attack me anyway. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
They become so. There's this very skilled art, and the rapport, the relationship with the patient. And the relationship, that's really key. So after working with her for some time, we did have a breakthrough. But it took a lot of rapport building, a lot of trust, because I would gently need to suggest a different belief system.
Beautiful answer. And look, we're going to pass that microphone to Tracy, and then I'm going to say something which will take us off course, and then Tracy will bring us back on course. So what it is that there's a guy who's been on the show, a guy called Tyler Farnham, which I think you know, Tracy. Tyler Farnham, American guy, and he's like a daredevil guy, right? So he's skydiving for years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jumps. His mom is a nurse that comes on this particular occasion. She never wants to come. He jumps out of a plane. She's tandeming. Cut a real long story short, he hits the ground without his chute opening. Yeah, it hurts, right? This guy should have died there and then. In the airstrip, there's a patch of grass, and the rest is concrete. He landed on the patch of grass from that high up. Thousands of feet high. So his mum comes down and she helps to save his life and stabilize him before the medics show up. He has horrific injuries. Horrific. Now, Western science, really good at diagnosing. You have broken this, broken that, da-da-da, ding-ding-ding, dung-dung-dung. You'll never, now the prognosis. You'll never walk again, you'll never eat again. Maybe Western, maybe not, right? He does, in his recovery, he does one thing which is very clever. I think it was his mum, actually. They brought in a woman who had similar injuries, but had somehow regained full range of motion. They asked one question, right? What is the secret? How did you do it? And this is now where it relates, but Tracy will bring it back on track in a sec, is, most of the time, our mind leads our body, right? So most of the time we say, I can't move my finger anymore if it's a full body cast. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't. Which reinforces to your brain, well, if you can't, you can't. So what she said is that focus on what you can do, not what you can't. That was her secret to healing and became his. So the next day or whichever week came later, he could move his little fingers. Like, oh, I can move my little finger. So this positive suggestive pathway that was reconfiguring the neuroplasticity of his brain was one of the keys that he was able to regain pretty much full range of motion. So that's that thing about the mind, which is so powerful. Now, we're talking about integrated medicine, and please get this lady a seat. Hadis or someone, we're going to bring you a seat, my darling. So you're welcome. So Tracy, over to you, maybe a little introduction. Okay, that's fine. We'll cross camera, no problem. It's okay. Over to you, Tracy.
Good evening, everyone.
There you
We're
go.
about to start. All right, then. I'll just start with what Health Hub is and just how we can tie all this in. Health Hub Bali is a platform to connect people to better health. So how do we do that? We have, like here in Bali, we have the health seekers and the vitality seekers. And then people are looking, they're going now big with medical tourism, health tourism and wellness tourism through the world. Bali's never had the medical tourism side, but if we're going to connect to real health, and that's what tonight's talk is, we start with the allopathic, which means Western medicine testing and understanding and with a functional medicine base, and then we connect it to make it a whole health model, and that's the integration side, if that makes sense. So that's why we have a doctor to explain.
I told her she'll bring us back on track, didn't I? And then is there anything else you'd like to say?
Parts of it is the brain. So it's a mindset too also for doctors that they can get this, because otherwise we go to med school, learn the functions of the body, but the rest is all pharmaceuticals. So we need that to heal. So that's their mindset also, and they're learning this more and more now, depending on how their subconscious or conscious is actually operating as a medic, whether they're looking and seeing what's happening to people, and the science is there now. We've got technology and ways to measure things.
Thanks, Trace. So for everyone just tuning in, this is episode number 446, Speak Up Monday, and it's all about what is, integrative medicine. And we have a wonderful expert here, Dr. Ava. First time on the show, but just killing the game like she's been here like 10 times or something. So we have a few takeaways. One is, what is integrative medicine? We've dealt with that one already. So what are the core points of value, and why Heal the Healer is the integral part of the model, and next, what is Health Hub Bali offering? So maybe the next question in that case is, what are the core points of value?
Yeah, so hello again. The core points of value of integrative medicine is, as a patient, it's all about you. It's all about your experience, what you're going through, and how your doctor can guide you. And I think that's a very key difference when we're switching from the conventional authoritarian model to more of a guide. And that also ties in why Heal the Healer is important, because having a doctor who's gone through a life transformation, understands the principles themselves, is connected with themselves, can see that in others.
You have a beautiful way of describing things, doesn't she? Everyone getting what I'm feeling here? Great vibe. Like you would see it just because of a bedside manner, wouldn't you? Just saying, hey, it's what you're thinking. That's just me telling you what you're thinking. So why, and this is the last question, and I'll get to throw this away, why Heal the Healer is an integral part of the model?
So in medical school, I sat with a textbook for the first 2 years in the library, right? I didn't know any pop culture. The only relationships I had were my friendships in my medical school class, right? I didn't really have any outside experience. And then you're thrown into your clinical years, your residency, and your head is down. This was my experience, at least. So until the doctor themselves, or the doctor in training, takes some time to really explore themselves, their own connections, their own health, has their own experiences. For me, it was through yoga, breathwork, meditation, right? Then we can actually provide those experiences for others.
Beautiful. So, Sister Tracy, is there anything at this point that you would like to add? And pretty soon, while Tracy's thinking about that, so this is a talk show. So it's not a podcast. It's a talk show in the fact that we have audience members sitting here in person live right now. And the beautiful thing about coming is that you get a chance to ask questions. So the first part of this is that if you have any questions, feel free to put the hand up. With these microphones, remember, just direct it towards your mouth, not right? So just remember that. That's one thing. The second thing, and the beautiful advantage of this, is that so people are attracted to the topic, right? So we probably have a potential reach of about 100,000 people in the marketing we put out beforehand. So the people that show up, be it 10 or 150 has been the most, there's something that connects everybody. So quite often, it's the people not only which are here, but the people which are there sitting next to you who you didn't come with, right? Who may be the next person that you're kind of drawn to speaking to. So quite often here, I know 5 people right now who have created, like businesses just through coming and recruiting partners and friends, and just by coming and having a chat. So if you're looking and watching online and you're in Bali, the next time you get a chance to come in person, if the topic kind of pulls you, come in person. Because that way, it's not only just I listen to it on YouTube when I'm doing my ironing or whatever else it is you're doing. I don't want to know whatever else you're doing, but you actually have an active participant. You can come, interact, learn, and also connect with other people which are in the same field or the same kind of vibration as you. So just keep that in mind. So over to you, Tracy, if there's anything you want to add to that. And if you have any questions, just keep it in mind and raise your hand, and we can answer your questions soon as well.
Yeah, so it's probably better to put it out to everyone, their questions on what integrative medicine is. And also raise the thing that over the last 3 years we've had many panels on integrative medicine. That word's getting thrown around a lot, and it's become attractive in the medical world and the hospitals. So what's happening is we have integrative cancer care becoming big here in Bali, and it's something there in the past, maybe in Germany and places like that, that was a model that was followed, and it's becoming more widespread because it's getting to a stage where we say, when there are no options, what next? And integrative medicine opens up a whole new world. Yeah.
Keep the mic with you, Trace, for a second, and just hold it for 1 second. So I remember some episodes ago, we had a wonderful man, I'm going to say it, Dr. Patrajaya, phenomenal person, human being. He is the chairman of Bali Medical Tourism Association. And one of the shows we did with him was about what you're saying, right? This integrative approach to dealing with cancer.
Yeah.
So maybe just while we're there, just give people just the broad brushstrokes of what that looks like here in Bali, and why Bali is one of the unique places in the world to actually have success with that.
All right then. So what it's first of all looking for is what root cause is. So we do this with the science model of testing, and we're finding out how our functions. It has a functional medicine base, meaning that we have got a body that operates a certain way. When things stop working, normally, originally we said you'd cut yourself, it would heal automatically. When things start not happening, why? So the type of doctors, when you talk about core values of integrative, they're looking for this. They don't want to do harm. They want to just give a drug, because the questions we want to also ask is, what will that do to me? Whether it be natural or chemical, that's all chemical. What will our thoughts, feelings and emotions do to us as well? And then these are the journeys of life that we would like doctors to experience here in Bali as well. So that's the integrative model. With the hospitals, say Dr. Patra, what they're referring to the art of healing. These are Balinese doctors. And they would like to integrate the modern with the traditional. And they call it the art of healing, and give people options and choices. So they're the questions we ask the doctor. If I do this, what is the issues? How long? What's the implications? And that goes back to the oath they made when they became a doctor.
The Hippocratic Oath, I remember that one. So Dr. Ava, I know you had something to say. Please say it in about 10 seconds. So Health Hub Bali, just check it out on social media if you're watching, on Instagram, right? Yep. Facebook. They're the main two, and there's a website too. So Health Hub Bali to find out more. Now you're going to add to something there, so please feel free.
Yes, a question that gets commonly asked is what's integrative medicine and what's functional medicine. So I just want to address that also. So integrative medicine is this big umbrella that encompasses functional medicine, but not limited to it. So functional medicine, the way it's practiced, at least in the United States, is specific biochemical testing. Okay, so it's really looking from that's the physical side. It's still within the physical realm of medicine, so it's still in that pathway. Does that make sense? So and then integrative medicine will include that plus everything else.
So the other word that people come across, they use CAM a lot, which is complementary and alternative medicine, which in the world of science is not a hard science and it's not accepted in the Western allopathic world. So would you like to explain that?
Yeah, so this idea of complementary alternative medicine, to me, does not exist. I think things either are safe and effective or they're not. So I don't like using these words because to me, like I said, my healthy nutrition, my yoga, all of this is good medicine for my body. I know it works and I know it's safe for me. Now, some modalities, even in conventional therapy, think of chemotherapy, not always safe, not always effective, right? So anything we're choosing, whether it's natural or synthetic, however we look at it, right? We're always looking at the effectiveness and the safety. Okay, and if it works and it's safe and your body heals, it's good medicine.
Love it. So, Brother Guzman, with the microphone, what we're going to do, so we're going to practice is all good. I can say that word. So what we're going to do, right, each person here, just keep in mind, you will be on camera, but don't worry about the camera. So what we're going to do is that just so people at home get an idea as well. So we're going to give the microphone to you. And we did it before, remember? Why are you here? What is it you'd like to learn? What is it that you'd like to know, right? So I just want to take 10 seconds just to put it on the microphone and then pass the microphone on. Okay, no need to introduce yourself. We don't need that for now. But just why are you here? What is it that you'd like to learn? Or, if you don't know that, what is it you'd like to share? So Guzman, if you pass the microphone to the lady dressed beautifully to your right. Yeah, and we just check it first. Yeah.
Hello.
Yep.
Is it working?
Yes, so
Okay.
keep it nice and close to your mouth.
Okay, okay. I'm here because I met you on the beach today. And she, and you were suggested me to come, and you said a little roughly about the topic, and I was curious, and that's why I'm here, and
Thank you much, Nani. Pass it to your right. Thank you.
I'm here because I want to know if you use breathwork as part of integrated medicine.
Great.
Yeah, good question.
And I'm here to get a better understanding of all the support that's available, mind, body, and soul.
Beautiful.
Hello, I'm here because Tracy sent me an invite. Thank you. And I believe our society is maybe the most technologically advanced, but yet the sickest. And so I love hearing the blend of modern technology with ancient wisdom. Thank you.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here for many reasons. One reason that just came to mind now is, are you able to put a number on the impact of the state of mind and mood over sickness versus genetic?
Ooh, nice one. That's a great question we're going to come back to.
Hello, I'm here because the lady you met on the beach is my fiancée, and that's already reason enough. Then she taught me the topic that is health related, and there are so many terms about health nowadays that are bubbling up, and I was just curious to hear more about what will be discussed today here.
Thank you, my brother. If you pass it to Guzman, and he'll slide it over. Yeah. Okay. Over to you, my dear.
Hello. Always.
Bit closer to the mic. Bit closer.
Yeah. Always looking to find different approaches to medicine. So I'm happy to learn everything that you have to offer me.
Love that. Thank you, brother.
I'm here because my lovely wife is integrative everything psychologist. And I do believe that healing comes from different parts, and it has to combine both spiritual, mental, and medical, as well as to drugs and stuff. And it's good to hear opinions and inputs from all the different sources. So that's why.
Wonderful. So Nana, a different one for you, darling, because we know what you are. Here's a question for you. So, what would you say is the question that you are most asked, right, as an integrative psychologist?
how long will it take for me to heal? Wow. Is usually what patients quickly ask within the intake session. They're very curious with the length of time. And I feel like psychoeducation on understanding that there is no limited finite time to healing, but rather radical acceptance to where you are right now helps shift that mindset and allows them to be more present with where they are in that moment. And so that's usually the first question I typically get asked in an intake session.
Wow. If you wanted to pass something on to people as being the most important thing before coming to see you, what would that be?
You really genuinely and transparently should ask yourself, are you ready to heal? Because sometimes we don't understand that we are our own blocks. And so that kind of has to come to a place of, like I said, true readiness and being really transparent where you are in that journey in that moment. But as Ava was mentioning, there's a myriad of different practitioners there. And so sometimes I find that finding the right healer in terms of doctor, psychologist, even life coach, it's all about understanding like who you are, who do you naturally gravitate towards. And because at the end of the day, your practitioner is going to become your mirror. And so you really want to find that safety and that rapport, as Ava was mentioning earlier.
Wonderfully put. Shamila, over to you, darling. So why are you here, my dear?
So this is my first time here, and
a bit close, my dear. Keep it close.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah, keep it close. Keep it close.
So I am a certified integrative wellness coach and also a doctor of functional and integrative clinical nutrition resident.
I didn't see that one coming. You see, remember what I was saying before about you never. It's the audience as well that has these gifts that you're here to connect with. I know 5 people already want to connect with you. Yeah. Please.
So essentially, I just want to know what my field looks like in Bali. How to connect, how does it integrate not only with foreigners that may come here, but also with the traditional Balinese practices and modalities. So I'm just trying to kind of learn that, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Very great. Thank you. And over to you, my dear. Yeah, so why did you come tonight? Is there anything you want to learn or?
Yeah, so I came tonight on the invitation of Ria, thank you. And I came here because I'm starting my own platform and community to embrace the female healing journey. And I want to connect all women together to start our healing journeys together and make it fun and safe. So I hope to learn a lot from these 2 beautiful women and also from you, not only women.
Wow, that's my feminine side coming out. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. Over to you.
I didn't know.
Just keep talking. Fine.
I didn't know what integrated medicine was until today, so I'm just here to learn a little more about that.
Great. Thank you so much. If you hand the mic back to Guzman. So this is the beautiful thing. If you're watching online, different people united by the topic, right? So that's why you should come in person, to meet wonderful people like this. I had no idea, Shamila, that's what you did. I had no idea why you were here. But I know and feel after 400 and whatever episodes that there's a reason why we're all here joined together. So ideally now you have an idea of maybe who you'd like to speak to outside of the wonderful Dr. Ava and Tracy, who you'd like to speak to in the audience, right? It's really important. Okay, so what was coming up for you when you're hearing these comments? We'll go back to David's question afterwards, but what was coming up for you when you heard why people are here and their comments about it?
The first thing that's coming up from hearing everyone's questions is there's so much potential to explore and have fun. And when you usually think about going to the doctor, it's like, I have to get the blood work test and they're going to tell me that I'm overweight or I have high blood pressure, and none of that came up here, right? Everyone was so engaged and interested. How can I use breath work? What are ancient practices? I want to learn about them. How can I connect with other doctors or providers or practitioners who are doing similar work as me? So I just want to thank everyone who's here, because this is the future. You're part of it, right? And how we're going to be healthy moving forward. We all get to decide this together. So these questions are going to lead our future in healthcare.
Quickly hand it to Tracy, and we're going to answer some questions. By the way, Shamila, join Health Hub Bali. That's the answer to your question.
to for a while.
She's been trying to. Goodness. All right. Off camera with that one. Off camera.
Yeah, that's the purpose of Health Hub. The platform is to connect people to better health and that they can have choices and options. There's certain knowledge they need, and then it becomes their own personal health journey instead of giving their power away to something else.
Love it. So let's answer some of these questions because all great questions here, but I think we had one from Davide, one from the gentleman that Tracy invited. So let's start answering some of these questions. I think you had one as well. Yeah, it was a comment. Yeah.
The genetic.
I love this question.
Yeah.
So, would you say that worries and anxiety...
Un attimino, Davide. Prendi il microfono, vai.
Grazie. So, would you say that worries and constant rumination has a greater impact than genetics?
This is the age-old nature versus nurture question, which
Well, I mean, this is specific to the mind. It's not, motorcycle pollution. It's pollution in the mind.
Let me start with nature versus nurture, because when I was in biology in high school and throughout college, it was the nature. Is it nature? Is it nurture? And they're doing all these twin studies. And what's really cool now is the science shows it's both. Our environment, including our mental environment, is part of our environment, affects our genes. So our genes can twist up and turn. They can unravel. That's like the DNA, right? It can twist up and turn, or it can unravel and relax, depending on the environment that we're in. The food that we eat, the people we talk to, the conversations we're having. And when I talk, this is a whole nother topic if you want to invite me back, but when I talk about nutrition, I rarely talk about food anymore. I rarely talk about food. People have so many opinions. I think everyone knows now, organic food, grass-fed, all that. Like, I think the word is out on the street. But what are we thinking when we're eating? What conversations are we having? What do we think about our food? Do I believe this food is going to nourish me, provide me strength, give me life force? Or am I like, I'm in a rush and I'm in a hurry and I have to get something on the go, and then all those thoughts are then we're ingesting them. What does that say about me? So, I got tension even saying that, right? Like, I can feel it. That's the somatic part. So it's both. It's both. The mind has a lot of control over the body, but the body also gives feedback to the mind. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Can I go even a bit deeper? Please. Would you say that your thoughts have an impact on the number of red blood cells, white blood cells? Would you go as far as that, or is it too specific now?
So Tracy, I think, may have something to say, but when it comes to thoughts, because I also practice meditation, sometimes we can control our thoughts and sometimes they just bubble up, right? So anyone who's having thoughts of, I'll say it's suicide or unworthiness or whatever it is, it doesn't have to impact your health. This can also be a sign of the healing process. And when I work with patients who have anxiety and depression, there's a technique I teach them where I say, thank you for showing me what I was holding. And then let it go. And then every time that thought comes up, thank you for showing me what I was holding, and let it go. No shame, no blame, because that's only going to compound it. You're like, oh my gosh, I have anxiety and I'm going to die tomorrow. And no. Thank you for showing me, and let it go.
Grazie, Davide. Yeah.
Tracy.
I'll just say, because it's a point there, because you're talking about generational issues and the genes, the genetic. Yeah. So what we're saying these days is that with generations, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, our habits, the way we view things, we've inherited. Not just us, but it can go back forever. So our reactions to issues, where another family, they wouldn't even worry about that. So this starts showing up in our body, the way the cells hear all those words. So once we recognise this is where awareness comes, and that's what Bali's about, creating time and space to address some of these issues, have these conversations, and then make a conscious choice whether you would like to continue those conversations or not. And then the testing they can have, it changes, like our parasympathetic nervous system, depending on what systems, the calmness, the healing process can start. And we can catch ourselves out. But we've never actually had the time through life, often, to address these things. Yeah?
Loving the questions, loving the answers. You have a question over here, but he's at the microphone right now, so over to you. You said something earlier on that I think created something up here, so please repeat.
Well, sure. I don't know if it was a question, but I just love the blend of modern day technology with ancestral wisdom. You know, it's when you start researching, you find a paradox, and it ties back into something that's been around for a long time, from breathwork, meditation. So, it wasn't a particular question, but and I'm here because I always love learning something new. So
thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Question over here. Oh, we have one in front. Yeah, we're coming to you after. We're coming.
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, closer to the microphone.
All right. I have a question that is, I guess, an important base for everything. So you brought already a very nice example of being your own guide and noticing whether something is really good for me, if it's supportive, or if it's actually hurting me. And then if there are really heavy life situations or pains, something where someone feels like not having the confidence anymore to make a choice based on, let's say, intuition or feelings, how would you navigate from there?
Low stakes. Like you have to learn to begin to trust yourself. Does this make sense? And so there's practices to practice intuition, and I teach that too.
Give us an example of one of those practices, because this is what it's about, right? People that can take something practical and try it for themselves.
So I went to medical school. I'm a classic overthinker. I don't know. Anyone else an overthinker? I win the award, okay? I win the award. And so I wanted to practice getting into my body more and making because we have so much. I come from Silicon Valley, and it's all about AI, artificial intelligence. And I'm like, do we give up on human intelligence? Hello, So it's I wanted to start learning my body's intelligence, and we know this in very clear examples. If something disgusts us, what face do we make, right? We back away from it, right? And it's we don't have to analyze this. We just understand it. So first, just watching the faces you make. It sounds so simple, but in front of a mirror, put a thought through your mind and watch your face. Or exercise I love doing with patients is say one thought as if it's true, and then say the opposite thought as if it's true. And see how your body squiggles or squirms or is at ease or relaxed. This is a really fun one. If anyone's going through, let's say, decisions are never A or B, because we have endless possibilities in this life, but our mind often thinks that they are. So let's say you have a fork in the road. Put each, and this is not taught to be in medical school. This is not science-based, for the record. This is just Ava having fun.
I like Ava having fun. Raise your hand if you like Ava having fun. Everyone likes having fun, Ava. Keep going, keep going.
You come see me. We're going to have dance parties. We're going to do laughter. We do it all. None of this was taught. It's just what happens. Because this is life, right? Life happens when we're not studying.
She was dancing earlier on. When I just first met her, Tracy didn't even introduce us this time, but she's there and she's kind of doing this. I'm like, she's moving on the spot. I love that. And then she said, yeah, well, this is moving. Body, life is motion. I'm like, that's a very good point.
Yeah, now I'm on this chair. But okay, so if you have two options and put them each on a piece of paper, separate them, don't understand which is which, and just stand over each of them. And it's really nice to have this one witnessed, and see if your body moves in a certain way, and have fun with it. And I've shown this to people; they're always surprised.
Some great ones there. Thank you. Great question, brother. Thank you very much. Now, anything left, or should we pass the mic forward? You have something else? Bring it. It's okay.
All right. So just to bring it on a higher level, that was already beautiful. I just mean when something I don't know, maybe a life accident, and Western medicine is now like our main medicine, clinics, whatever, rely on. So when I'm in a situation where someone else is taking control or charge of my health, or when someone is advising me something because I feel like I have no options left, how would you navigate from there?
Yeah, so it depends on the level of consciousness you're at. I'm making a joke because I've worked in an emergency room where people are just almost flatlined, right? And you're totally reliant on this Western system or the system that's in front of you to take care of you. So just this level of trust and inherent trust that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people, with the right interventions, who are going to do what's best for me. And if we don't have that trust, like taking a step back and saying, okay, is there a good reason? Or is there something else that I need to receive for that trust to, sometimes trust takes time, right? So I had a patient who was prescribed methotrexate, which is an anti-inflammatory for rheumatoid arthritis, also used as a chemotherapy. And the doctor prescribed it kind of in a rush. He was back-to-back patients, part of the NHS system. And that trust was never developed. So she came to me and says, I don't know if I should take this. It was prescribed to me, but I don't trust it, right? We hear this all the time. And I said, well, what do you believe about it? And she said, well, I looked it up and it looks like it's poison. And I was like, well, no wonder you're not taking it. You believe it's poison, right? So it's like this kind of we have to align our beliefs with the medicine that we're prescribed. And if there's discrepancy, getting the information that you need or the trust to move forward. Depends how acute the situation is. If you show up in the emergency room,
thank you.
Trust, yeah.
Great question, brother. If you pass the microphone, we're going to go to you, my darling, over here. By the way, if you're just tuning in, you're watching episode 446, Speak Up Monday, Destination Indonesia, the first Monday of every month, Health Hub Bali collaboration with Speak Up Monday. And tonight is all about integrative medicine. And we have a special guest, Dr. Ava, here with us. Over to your question.
Hi, Dr. Ava. So earlier on, you were talking about the discomfort that you notice in the body, anxiety, etc., and you said, just say thank you and let it go.
Yeah.
Where's the button for that? Like, how do you let it go? What practices do you suggest?
Yes. Yeah. So as we start to heal, and you can sort of think of these. This is part of the healing process. Is you're going to be faced with all the things that made us sick. Because we need to see them to let them go. So just kind of conceptually understanding, at least this is in my experience, right? And working with others and my own journey, right? Okay, so in accepting that, I teach compassion and self-compassion and self-forgiveness. Because as we begin to heal, as I began to heal myself, right? I encountered all the things that were making me sick. And if I didn't have compassion for myself on that journey, I'm just going to beat myself down more. And I have a patient example. A patient came to me for hypnosis for skin picking. She wanted to get rid of her skin picking. And this patient had a horrific history, sexually assaulted, had an abusive parent, just you name it, has been through it all. And she's like, I just want to get rid of this. She's processed so much with her psychologist and her therapist, and now all she has left is this skin picking habit. She's like, I just want to get rid of it. I don't ever want to see it again. And I said, did you thank it first? Out of all the things, think of how much you've been through, and all you did was some skin picking. That was a coping mechanism that may have saved your life, and then that's something, she saw it very differently. So yeah, compassion and forgiveness. And there's compassion meditations. I could teach one now if we have time, which I'm happy to do, but do a pulse check.
Compassion meditation, you want to try it?
Yeah? Okay. So everyone embrace a comfortable seat. Have your feet on the ground. Eyes can be opened or closed. To center myself as well. So there's a couple different grounding techniques to get into the body. Breath is commonly used, but if that's uncomfortable for you, you can choose a different one. You can focus on your feet, or your sits bones, the center of your chest, or the breath itself. Choosing a place in your body that is already comfortable and at ease. Bring your attention there. Maybe there's a color that's associated with this place in your body. Maybe there's a sensation you can tap into. Maybe there's no place at all, and that's also okay. Place in your body that's comfortable and at ease. And from this place of comfort, see if there's any, as it spreads, allow it to spread. And notice if it rubs up against any place that's uncomfortable. If there's resistance or tension, just notice it. If it's too much, you can back off. You can always come to the breath and the place of ease. But if you're curious about this tension, simply be with it. Kind of like a good friend in the schoolyard. And share a joke. Become curious. Hey, what's your name? What do you like to do for fun? And let this tension know that you're aware of its existence. I see you. I see you in me. I am aware you're here. We often don't pay attention to our tensions. We're giving this one a little extra love today. I see you. I love you. I am aware. I care about you. I really care about you. Maybe that's all that point of tension needed today, is the acknowledgement, the awareness, the care. You can unconditionally provide for any part of yourself. Notice what happens in your own body when you provide that love and attention. And if your body's ready, if that tension has received all the love it needs, maybe it hasn't. Maybe we revisit this later when you're home this evening. But if it's ready, you can ask this tension to be released. And if it's not ready, just hang out with it a little bit longer, as long as it needs. I'm aware. I care. Release. and be at peace. You can stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to come back to Tropical Nomad in Canggu, episode 446. You can wiggle your fingers, your toes, come back to present.
Show's not over yet. I feel even more chilled out than usual. If you weren't here, I'd be lying down right now. You're like, I know. It's like, damn it, you do this now, Dr. Ava? Give me a bed. Wonderful, great question. Yeah, and that's the point about this, is that we don't rehearse this, as you can pretty much clearly see, but it's always the way it should be. Right, and that's the point about tuning in and allowing things to be as they are. So, any other questions? Anybody? One over here. So the microphone with you, Guzman. Yeah. So just over here. Probably the last few questions, and we'll begin to wrap up after that.
So Ava, like the story that you shared about that patient, at one point in my life I had very bad anxiety, panic attacks. I went to a doctor for help, and in that short 10-minute appointment, they prescribed me some medication. I went home. I usually wouldn't do this, but I did look up, what is this? And it was sertraline, which is like an antidepressant. And it just didn't sit well with me, with all the side effects, and I didn't feel depressed. I felt stressed, and that led me to find breath work. And so that's something that I teach now, and it's something that I'm so passionate about because I felt the effects and seen the effects on other people. But people have said to me, what about, you're going to be up against pharmaceutical companies in medicine and things like this. Like, what has your experience been of that, with this type of therapy that you integrate as well? Have you faced any problems with that?
So I think the question is, I'm not sure what the question is.
So any, I guess, resistance against trying integrated medicine, like breath work?
Yeah, so it depends on the patient, but usually patients who are seeking me in my counsel are more open to these because they know they're going to see an integrative doctor. But a lot of them are already on medicines, and some of them are coming to request medicine. So that's where it's fully an integrative approach, right? So there should never be this resistance, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone is on their journey of readiness or acceptance of where they're at and what works for them. So, yeah, I try not to work in that area of resistance. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. Now, any other questions over here? Ba-ba-doom, bada-bing. All right.
Let me one other about resistance. For patients who aren't ready to receive kind of this whole integrative approach, right? Maybe they're sort of more used to their traditional model, which is prescription based. I've often noticed there's like a 2-year waiting period for that resistance, to overcome that resistance, in my experience, where I usually end up seeing people back. But resistance, and I let everyone know who comes in the door, because sometimes I'm offering something they're not ready for yet. And I let every patient know, call me when you are, or be open to someone else coming into your life when you're ready, because resistance is part of progress. Because the second we face this resistance, we know where our block is. So I also remember that. So I expect it.
I thought you had a question, by the way. I could feel it.
You may have something to say.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Your intuition is on point. Actually, so to piggyback on what you said, it was so wonderful, Dr. Ava, about intuition, and it was actually this gentleman's question you had about that, and I just kind of wanted to elaborate. So I find that, and I feel like your experience would probably overlap with this perspective, is that I find with intuition, what creates such a challenge to be able to tune in is just the body holds so much trauma. The actual term is somatic conversion. So what happens is that when we store traumas, obviously in the mind, it actually gets stored in the body. And so intuition, though, is in the body. And that's what I find is the issue. So oftentimes when you mentioned earlier, like to your patient, like, oh, do you trust yourself, right? Do you trust your intuition? They're like, no, well, it's because they don't have that comfort yet and that familiarity to trust their own bodies. And so I find that usually with my patients, I start with grounding techniques a lot to be able to kind of merge back into the body and away from the mind. And that usually actually takes a while to get comfortable again in the body, because it does store everything. All the imprints you can imagine get stored in your subconscious. So it's a process. It's such a journey in itself to unpeel that and to start to get that safety and that trust again. Just kind of wanted to add that. So it's definitely a journey to get back to your intuition for sure. Just to be kind to yourself.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm feeling that's probably it for now. Remember, that after this, we're going to have a photo together because we can. All right? We can. I don't know what happened with the voice there. Can. And so then after that, you have a chance to kind of hang out. And remember what we did earlier on. So there's people here that you really want to speak to. Yeah? Don't let the opportunity pass you by. Because we're all here, thanks to your meditation as well, we're all here on the same plane, right? In the same collective. So people here are open to your conversation. So if you're one of those people which, are thinking, I can't ask that question, or I shouldn't speak to her, or, I don't have the courage, or I'm shy, or these sorts of things, just realize that everybody here is open. Yeah. So if you do have a question, feel free to approach them. I recommend not right now, but after we have the photo, then will be a good time. Tropical Nomad is open 24 hours. I'm not saying take 24 hours, all right? But it's open 24 hours. Also, remember the cafe, there's food and drinks until 2020. 8/20 is the last order for food and drinks. So I think we're still in time for that, if you want to get that as well. So as we begin to kind of close this one up, I'm just going to say that, in about 3 or 4 minutes, you will have the time that you need either to reiterate something that you feel is important for people to hear, or maybe it's something that's just coming in now and you're like, you know what? I think they need to hear this. And with you, Tracy, we're going to finish with you. Anything about Health Hub Bali, or anything that you feel, because you're such a great person to be able to connect the dots and bring things together again. So we'll leave that with you, and then we'll wrap after that. So just before we get there, so just thank you to everybody here. We've got Guzman, we've got Hadis, and we've got Rachel somewhere around here from Tropical Nomad. This is episode 446. Remember that there's a WhatsApp group. The photos from tonight will go into that group. So if you want to know the photos, there's a link to all the photos. You can grab those as well. A link to the episode as well. Thank you to the audience for coming, and I know you're going to get value as soon as you get the chance to connect with each other, because it's been I can feel it already. And then obviously to our guest, Dr. Ava, the first time that I felt like I've known you a lifetime. She's already a sister. Come on, you feel that, right? I feel it. Sister Tracy, thank you very much, darling, for bringing some wonderful people. This is number 35 or 36 or 37, who knows, in this whole series that we've done. And you always manage to bring some of the most wonderful people here. We've mentioned some of them, from Dr. Patrajaya all the way through to, many, many guests, right? Tonight being another one of those. So thank you very much. So remember, follow Health Hub Bali, Instagram, Facebook, website. Check them out. It's been 10 years that she's been working on this for, so it's not a new thing, right? She's very good at what she does. And as you mentioned, I'll let her kind of go into a little bit more detail about that. My name again, Robert Ian Bonnick, known as the Gateway to Indonesia for foreign and local companies that want to expand. 3 things that we do really well. One is an immersive feasibility tour and market research. So many people come here and they don't know who to connect with or if their product will work, we set up focus groups of your target customer, clients, and so on, so you get to interact directly. The second thing we do is about connecting people. So that is, through the show, there's 446 episodes, 10 market sectors. So we know the leaders, the innovators, the disruptors, the stakeholders of 10 different industries very well, because we've gained some trust like we've done tonight. So it's very easy for us to connect you to the right people to ensure that you get it done. And the third and final part is promotion. Tonight is an example of that. It's organic, but we also have and utilize inorganic, it sounds weird to say that, inorganic modes of communication, but we also do. So if any of those three things are of help for you, make sure you come over afterwards or online. If you're watching online, Robert Ian Bonnick is pretty much on every platform, RIB and Associates. So take a breath. All right. So, Dr. Ava, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You really are a sister. Tracy, this is another one, tick, right, on the list of crew that I feel. Right? And I think everybody here is watching. They're going to want to come and see you now. It's like, I got to go and see Dr. Ava. I don't know why. I just feel, I know, we got to fight. One person here. I'm first. And I wouldn't mess with her either, by the way. She throws a mean right hook. I've heard. And so yes, my dear, over to you. And then we'll go to Tracy. And then we'll wrap and have a photo after that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the key points were already covered. So integrative medicine is whole health medicine, starting with your physical body. It's often why you come to the doctor, but integrating the psychological, the emotional, the energetic bodies, right? Knowing what works for you, what's safe for you, right? Having a healer who's been on a journey of their own, one that may interest you. So whether it's a breath work, someone who's interested in breath work or psychology or nutrition, and connecting in with that practitioner where you're aligned, looking at your core beliefs and really looking at them and getting help to see what they are if you need help in that way. What else did we talk about? I think that summarizes a lot of it. A lot of self-compassion and forgiveness, anyone who's on their healing journey. Yeah, that's a big one. I think our world's going to need it with a lot of the choices we've made as a society. So we're not alone. And if you do want to work with me, my name of my practice is Holbrook Health. It's HOLBROOK Health, HEALTH.com. Originally based in Portola Valley in Northern California. Holbrook was the name where my father had his practice, and he passed away right before the pandemic, 2018. And I thought wherever I went in the world, I want to say I'm off to Holbrook, like he did. So the name carries along with me. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Sister Tracy, almost... One more. Not that you were premature, because I want to give a round of applause as well. But Tracy, over to you, my dear.
Okay, thank you for coming. What I'd just like to share is that this integrative medicine is an integral part of what the platform Health Hub Bali is about. Can you hear me? Okay. So what we're doing at the moment, and this is whether it's practitioners, centres, the health tourism model, we're talking about health resorts. Anybody who's offering any kind of health and wellness or offering talks, we are saying come onto the platform. We'd like everyone here in Bali, first of all, to be legal, credible and legitimate, that we can connect people, and also all the missing parts that people might need, because it's not just about the ancient wisdom these days and the breath work. We also start because there's a huge chemical problem in our bodies, and sometimes we have to use these type of things to reset and restore health. So where we're starting now in Indonesia is in the economic zone. There's a new hospital that's being built there, and Health Hub Global, the other part of us, are bringing the doctors from around the world who are the experts with all the integrative medicines. But apart from that, the other part is having doctors here that can create medically informed retreats, not necessarily practicing as a doctor, but taking you through these health journeys that you can experiment. So there's practitioner-only events and then particular other types of events as well. So we're inviting everyone, like ones are saying, what's happening in Bali? Yeah, we're organising an infrastructure to make it a safe place for everyone, for the public and also for practitioners.
You know, one last one, which I wouldn't do, but is coming in. Why Bali is unique? Can you answer that one?
Yep. So the gist of it is, and always has been, it's a catalyst for change. The minute you hit Bali, there's a difference. There's a frequency here as well. And the thing is, with disease in particular, we're saying get out of wherever you are and come to Bali. You've got a certain amount of time, and that may just be what you need. But not to be irresponsible, we have the testing available here, and then that health journey starts. Someone asked about genetics and all this other business. We say 85% is emotional that's driving it. So this is a nice place with the practitioners and the level of care that you can get to reset and restore, detox, whatever part, and the whole health model.
Beautiful. Everybody, round of applause. Tracy Health Hub and our guest, Dr. Ava. See you next week.